Hi, good afternoon, folks. In this video, we're going to take a look at Rasmus Ristolainen, his career numbers in games played, and the only Sabres that played more games than him. Coming up. All right, the shout out goes to Mike Phelan. Mike, what I'm going to do with this video, we're going to take a look at all the players that have played more games than Risto, and yes, we are still going to look at the players who have played 10 seasons and up, all in the same video. So I'm going to condense it as quick as I can. So let's get started. I'm going to throw up some numbers for you guys, and you're going to see. There it is. Okay. Now you're going to see that in the career of Risto, only 25 players have played more games as a Buffalo Sabre in their career. So we're going to start on the bottom right, and we'll start with Risto and work our way up. So let's look at Risto's numbers. He's played 542 games, and he has 46 goals, 199 assists, 245 points. It's not really a points thing, this video, but it's mostly a games, but I'll throw in the points while we're at it. Next is Curtis Brown at 25. He has played also 542 games, 109 goals, 143 assists for 252 career points. Then we got Derek Roy. He was at 549 games, 161 goals, 266 assists for 427 points. Number 23, Drew Stafford. 145 goals, 177 assists for 322 points. And next, Max Afinogenov at 569 games played, 134 goals, 200 assists, 334 points. Next, Larry Playfair, who some of you might remember was our Rob Ray before Rob Ray, kind of. 577 games, 24 goals, 76 assists for 100 points. And then we have Miro Satan at 578 games, 224 goals, 232 assists for 456 points. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Playfair 577, right? That's something, 577, 578. Look how tight that all is. Then we have Jay McKee, a very loved Sabre, 582 games played, 17 goals, 81 assists for 98 career points as a Sabre. Number 19, Jim Schoenfeld, 584 points, 45 goals, 183 assists for 228 points. Richard Schmelik at 589 games played, 47 goals, 135 assists for 182 points. It's almost weird for me to look at, folks, that Schmelik played more games as a Sabre than Schoenfeld. It's just very weird to look. There's a few surprises here. Next, Thomas Vanek. 598 games played, 254 goals, 243 assists for 497 points. Next is Lindy at 608 games played. At number 15 he is. 608 games played, 102 goals, 183 assists for 285 points. And number 14, Phil Housley. 608 games, 178 goals, 380 assists for 558 points. What a career. What a career Phil Housley had. My God. That guy's numbers are just so, they're never bad anywhere. Number 13, Johan Hesch. 613 games, 138 goals, 207 assists for 345 points. And number 12, Rick Sealing, 664 games, 176 goals, 200 assists for 376 points. Yes, the Rick Sealing that we drafted instead of Mike Bossy. Number 11, Mike Foligno, one of my favorites, 664 games also, 247 goals, 264 assists for 511 points. And now we're in the final 10. Rick Martin, 681 games, 382 goals, 313 assists for 695 points. And this was a surprise for me. Alexei Zhitnik played 712 games. He is a 9th all-time. That really blew me away. That surprised me. 712 games played, 55 goals, 234 assists for 289 points. I mean, I knew he was up there, but it's still a surprise. And the land of Pominville, Jason Pominville, the population of Pominville, I should say, 733 games, 217 goals, 304 assists, 521 points. And yes, if you notice the American flag there, that's because he had dual citizenship, just so you know. So some people might be saying, I thought he's Canadian. He was born in Canada, but he had dual citizenship, so they have an American flag there next to his name. Number 7, Don Luce, 766 games played, 216 goals, 310 assists for 526 points. Dave Andreychuk at number 6, 837 games, 368 goals, 436 assists for 804 points. And now in the top 5, Bill Height is at 854 games played, 42 goals, 202 assists for 244 points for a very, very steady career. Just for the record, he was a plus 320 in his career, folks. I believe that's number 2 all time on the Sabres. And then Rob Ray, our favorite buddy, who we'd all like to shake his hand and thank him for the fun memories. 889 games played, 40 goals, 50 assists, 90 points, and for the record, 3,189 career penalty minutes. God. Oh. Moving on, Mike Ramsey, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. 911 games. I'm laughing about Rob being top 4. Jeez. All right, 911 games played for Mike Ramsey, 73 goals, 256 assists for 329 points. Very, very steady defenseman, part of course, the Miracle on Ice team, who came right over and made the transition to the NHL very easily. Just a superb defenseman, my God. And I also think his number should be retired, which I like to throw out there every once in a while. Craig Ramsey also, another great Sabre in history, 1,070 games played, 252 goals, 420 assists for 672 points. You know, when you consider he's a defensive forward, 672 points in under 1,100 games is pretty phenomenal, eh? And he is plus 324 all time. And then we have Mr. Sabre, Gilbert Perreault, 1,191 games, 512 goals, 814 assists for 1,396 points. Now, I'm just going to click on the plus minus here for a sec, folks. Hold on. Just kind of curious. Yeah, Craig Ramsey's number 1 all time, Bill Height number 2, and Jim Schoenfeld number 3. Wow. Okay, that comes in number 3. Number 4, Don Luce. Number 5, Danny Gare. Number 6, Mike Ramsey. All right. So let me get back to the games played. Now, I'm going to keep that up there for a second, and I will take that down. All right, so we looked at those numbers, and what I did is I did some research also. This is what Mike wanted for the video. I've got 14 Sabres who have played 10 seasons or more. Now, sometimes there's also a Sabre that's played part of a season. Like, you know, like Gilbert Perreault played 20 games in his last season. I counted that on here, just for the record. So there is some parts, but I'll start with Larry Playfair at the bottom, number 15. There was 15, okay? Larry Playfair was, his last season was only 4 games played, if you want to count it or not count it. Myself, I wouldn't count it. I'm just saying, you know? So really, technically, Larry Playfair really should be 9. So I'm going to start now with Jim Schoenfeld. He's number 14 well, Jim Schoenfeld, Lindy Ruff, Johan Hesch, Mike Foligno, Rick Martin, Alexei Zhitnik, Jason Pominville, and Don Luce. So you got right there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that played 10 seasons. All right. And now we still have 6 left. We have Dave Andreychuk, who played 12 in 12 different seasons as a Sabre. Bill Height, a very impressive 14. My God, this guy was a very steady hockey player. God, he's a forgotten Sabre too. Bill Height was, he was just so steady. He really was. He really was. And then Rob Ray, 14. 14 for Rob Ray. Mike Ramsey, 14, and I got him bracket parts, so I'm guessing there was parts because he came into the NHL from the Miracle on Ice team, and then he got traded, right? So it's like parts of seasons. Like I believe his first year was like 13, 14 games. I just checked it before I forget. Pretty sure it was like 13, 14 games, but you know, Mike Ramsey, he was a special defenseman. My God. His name should be in the rafters. It should be in the rafters. You know, the Sabres got to wake up with some of their players, historically speaking. I think Mike Ramsey's name should be in the rafters. And even Craig Ramsey. You know, Craig Ramsey, 14 seasons. And Gilbert Perreault, 16 seasons. His last season was 20. And 20 games, I believe it was. And that's it. So we have, if you take a look at, let me look at this again with you folks just for a second. You know, I wanted to, there was something here. Oh yes, I wanted to point this out. If you take a look at those those numbers that I put up on the board before, you'll see that you'll notice there's nobody that's even, they're all at least 10 years older than Risto. All these players that have played more games than him. So this is a long time since we've had a guy play 8 seasons in Buffalo. If you do the numbers that way. It's been a while, you know? And if Risto happens to stick around and play the next 2 years, he will be in the top 10 all-time of Buffalo Sabres games played, I believe. Let me just check it again. He will be, yep. Risto will be in the top 10 if he plays 2 more seasons with us, as a guy who's put his blood, sweat, and tears into this organization. So I think the guy deserves a little respect, more than he's been given. If you were to ask me in all those 26 players who's taken the most slack as a Sabre, it's probably been Risto. Because, you know, most of those guys, a lot of those guys, I would say, there was no such thing as social media back then, right? There was just the newspapers and word of mouth and me and you talking as friends and all that stuff. Now you got Twitter and all sorts of stuff that just, you know, like, this guy's crappy, he's minus 41, get rid of him, throw him in the garbage, like the stuff you hear. It's just ridiculous, you know? So I would like to lobby, because of that number, to keep Risto in town, but that's just me. You know, we'll see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen in the off season. It's coming very soon. We might be saying goodbye to Risto very soon. And I would hope, folks, in Buffalo, if Risto does get moved, okay, if he does get moved, that he gets a standing ovation the next time he plays a game in Buffalo as on an opposing team. I would hope that they would do a little thing on the Jumbotron for him and do the right thing. I would hope, you know, just where this guy stands. Okay, so that's it. Mike, I hope that's what you wanted. I don't know. I hope that's what you wanted, but I got a bunch of videos I got to catch up on. You guys are keeping me busy, so I'm good with that. I'll see you folks later. Have a good one. Till then.